For people who don't know, the emperor, who is the emperor?
I mean, Frank Amadeo.
Frank Amadeo.
Frank Amadeo.
What's his condition?
He's a rapid
cycling
bipolar with features of schizophrenia.
Right.
And he believes, since he was very young, he has believed that God is telling him he will be emperor of the world, which is an odd thing to hear. Unfortunately, he's also a lawyer and extremely competent, and has tried to mount a coup in the Congo. There's a documentary about that called 9 Days in the Congo. He was convicted for stealing defrauding the federal government out of $180 million. It actually, the number is closer to $200 million, but that's what he pled guilty to. And he eventually, I mean, literally, I got pictures of him with Bush. He was one of the financial backers of the NATO summit in Latvia. He owned several companies that were security companies that did security consulting and guarded like food trucks and stuff in Afghanistan. So I mean, he had a ton of, I think it was like 40,000 employees. He has just a ton. It was like $500 million in revenue. He had a bunch of companies. So eventually he gets in trouble with the government. They according to him, really not even according to him, honestly, according to all the paperwork, even the government admits they drugged him, like he was drugged. They convinced him to plead guilty.
What kind of drugs? Like MK Ultra type deal?
No, like Thorazine, like ridiculous amounts of just like, he's like drooling during his sentencing. I mean, he's completely out of it.
Thorazine? What was it called?
Thorazine.
Thorazine.
Yeah, it's like a downer. Like it's an antipsychotic.
You got his spidey senses tingling over there. Is it like a Vicodin?
That sounds way
steroids.
Better.
I mean, it's bad. It's something you get.
Is it kind of like what's
Super Xanax?
What's your favorite drug that you love? Fentanyl. It's like fentanyl.
No, that would
that's a painkiller.
No.
Okay, it's not like fentanyl.
No. So anyway, he eventually pleads guilty, thinking he's going to get a few years, and really, honestly, just drugged out of his mind. The government, he's awarded the state. Like basically, he's certifiably like insane. Like he has a guardian. Like he can't sign a check. He's got they've got him. He's got a legal guardian. His rights were taken away. So he pleads guilty. He gets sentenced. They give him 22 years. I go to prison. I meet him. I'm in trouble. I got 26 years. He handles my case because he is a lawyer. Handles my case. He ends up filing 2 2255s. He gets 7 years knocked off my sentence the first time, 5 years knocked off my sentence the second time. He eventually gets himself out of prison. Yes, please. He gets himself out of prison on COVID, so he's out.
Yeah.
And I found out why
he's out on COVID.
He's out on so
COVID
that's
release.
And like that's what they all call him. Like you get out. Oh, I got out on COVID. But I mean, there's a technical at his age and with his
health,
yeah. It's dangerous for him to be in prison because COVID is rampant in prison. So they let him out, put him on an ankle monitor. He starts working.
Doing what?
Unfortunately, I believe there were 2 law firms that he was consolidating, and he started buying up other companies that were failing, or he was doing some kind of consulting for companies that were failing. Essentially, a very similar to what he was doing the first time. Mm-hmm. It's my understanding, my very limited understanding of what happened. But what ends up happening is his release gets violated. He goes back to jail. He's held in jail for, I want to say, 4 months. Never filed a reason why. Finally, they go in front of the government, in front of the judge. He finally forces the Bureau or the Justice Department to bring him back in front of the judge and says, "Why did you violate me? Why am I in custody?" Mm-hmm. They said, "We heard that he was suspected of committing a crime." What crime? Where's the evidence?
Yeah.
The judge said, "Look." Oh, and they also said he left the jurisdiction without permission. So they said, "Great. Where's the evidence?" The judge said, "You got 10 days." 10 days later, they still hadn't provided it. The judge says, "Okay, you got 10 more days." still, like a month later, they still never were able to provide anything that they said they violated him for. So the judge said, you got to let him out.
Yep.
What are you doing? So they let him out, and he got back out, and I thought he had re-violated because I know someone who is in communication with him, and she had told me, I haven't heard from him in weeks, I think he may have been re-violated because they have it out for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I texted his attorney, and his attorney said, nope, still out. He's doing fine. You could call him if you want or text him or whatever. Here's his phone number and everything. I was like, yeah, but I didn't. So if you want to.
Can we call him on your phone? Because does he know your number?
He doesn't know my number.
Okay,
I've
well,
never
let's call
texted
him. I'm going to connect my phone to the speakers right now. And we're going to fucking do it, Matt. It might take me a second. Dun, 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 dun. We're getting ready to call the Emperor. What if we got the Emperor on the podcast, bro? How insane would that be?
Amadou.
Hello?
Voice message system 40740.
Oh, he texted me. Sorry, I can't talk right now.
Bit too busy.
Can I?
Too busy taking over the
Let
world.
me make sure I call the right number. What should I say?
I would say that I'm doing a podcast right now, and we're discussing your story, and would love to know it. I would love for you to chime in.
Crazy shit, Frank Amadeo. Hopefully we can get him on here soon.